U.S. Senator Jon Tester tells Defense Secretary James Mattis that the nation's strength is reflected in economic security and national security.
Our nation's strength isn't only reflected by the size and capability of our military, it's also reflected in the strength of our schools, our healthcare system, our nation's infrastructure. Our strength is reflected in our economic security and national security, as you have already pointed out.
This after the Trump administration's proposed budget slashes the Departments of Agriculture, Health and Human Services, Transportation and Education, while reducing the State Department's budget by nearly 30%.
Not only are women returning home with mental and physical injuries of war, but they are 2 to 4 times more likely to be homeless compared to civilian women. They have greater gender-specific health care needs and too often find that their local VA is not equipped to provide the care or the support services that they need. And on top of this, women veterans are often the primary or sole caregiver of their family, and that is why today I am pleased to announce the introduction of the Deborah Sampson Act. This bipartisan bill will make sure that the VA has more resources and tools to better address the specific needs of every woman who walks in the VA's doors.
U.S. Senator for Montana Jon Tester received the Sonny Montgomery Medal from the National Guards Association for supporting the National Guard. Tester says in the 10 years he has served in the Senate, he's worked to improve conditions for Montana Guardsmen and active duty veterans. His initiatives include providing mileage reimbursements for disabled vets, doubling the amount of vet centers in the state, and increasing programs such as peer counseling and job training.
Well, U.S. Senator Jon Tester announces legislation to temporarily ban the importation of Brazilian beef in order to protect American consumers from consuming rotten meat. The move comes after reports that Brazilian meat packers have been exporting rotten beef and then trying to cover it up with cancer-causing acid products. Tester's bill places a 20-day ban on Brazilian beef imports, which will give the USDA time to comprehensively investigate food safety threats and determine which Brazilian beef sources put American consumers at risk.
U.S. Border Patrol agents say the government's focus on beefing up the nation's southern border could encourage increased threats from smugglers to the northern border. Senator Jon Tester says while the focus is on the southern border with Mexico, criminals will go to the weakest link.
But just overall, do you guys have any numbers on what you might be short on the northern border?
If we hire 5,000 new agents, we must at least put 1,500 of those agents on the northern border.
Questions swirl in Washington over the FBI's confirmation it's investigating possible ties between the Trump campaign and Russian operatives. Montana Democratic Senator Jon Tester is calling for detailed answers following the FBI's confirmation of the investigation today. He said in part, the administration must address these concerns thoroughly in order to prevent future attacks and to keep our nation safe.